I can't believe it. 2025 is nearly gone. Perfume Nation, it is time for our celebratory vibe check. Let's see what were the highlights, the lowlights, what were the wins, the losses, surprises, the trends emerged versus expected or advertised to us. And let's try to prophesize what is about to happen with us in the year to come. I guess first and foremost, a central heavy-hitting question: was there a trend in at least in my perfume discovery in my world? Definitely, I expected to try more perfumes. I was very curious about novel gourmands, lychee gourmands, strawberry gourmands, pistachio, banana. That was all the rage in terms of the releases. While de facto, in reality, what I truly enjoyed exploring in all its facets was ginger. I made a whole expose, ultimate guide to ginger in perfumery, what cultural codes can be explored beyond just the obvious, a solo note of ginger. I made a whole video, like an ultimate guide, what cultural codes can be explored via the scent olfactory design. Utilizing this note, and one of the probably more expensive but really enjoyable finds for me was my first ever Floraiku perfume, which is done with homage to Japanese culture, but as far as I understand, I think it's a French perfume house that pretends to be Japanese culture inspired. That's an interesting twist. I got myself pretty much just to pay less money a refill of I Am Coming Home, which is tea ceremony with ginger, so lemon, tea scents, and ginger note as a primary tonality of that perfume. I really enjoy it. It's very light, somewhat sour musky, which to me a lot of Asian olfactory codes tend to go a little bit of a vinegary in the way that they create perfumery. Maybe it's just me. If you notice the same thing, please let me know. So Floraiku, it was the first fragrance I ever got from this house. I really wanted to try them, and it was a really good ginger. I really enjoyed it. I also thrived on using Prada, their new cologne, Eau de Gingerbread, and Hermes Twilly or Gingerbread or Ginger. Those three are probably like the top of the top for me among many that I tried, but I thoroughly enjoyed. I bathed in ginger-centric perfumes, and that was truly a surprise. I thought it would be, explore, try, move on. Nope. It really was a central theme, and I kept going back and back to ginger-centric fragrances because you could find fresh cologne-y type of scents. You could find more gourmand and hearty type of scents with a little bit of that sparkle of ginger spice. It really turned out to be a very versatile wave to ride throughout 2025. The most expensive addition, well, that's easy, and you know what it is. I got myself not one, but two full-size fragrances from the Amouage luxury legacy line. It's something luxury. I got Honor 43, which surprisingly is the first green-white floral. Think bitter fresh florals, Lily of the Valley. I usually can't stand Lily of the Valley perfumes. It's really a drilling note for me. It's hard for me to survive it. While I do really enjoy Lily of the Valley as an olfactory memory, as a concept. This is the first very green, piercing, bitter white floral that to me has that Lily of the Valley tonality. that really delivered. I really enjoyed Honor 43. It's prohibitively expensive. The packaging though delivers 10 out of 10 on every single aspect of this collection, and it's clearly amazing masterpieces value in terms of olfactory design, at least the ones that I got to try. And Honor 43 is probably in my top 3 fresh bitter green white florals. And the Epic 56, which in comparison to the classic Amouage Epic is way more rose oil and very rich, sexy, nuanced type of rose. Look at that. I mean, 10 out of 10. I haven't worn it as much. I feel like the Epic is begging for, Epic 56 is begging for slightly cooler weather. I'll definitely give it a more extensive wear. But generally speaking, in terms of piney, incensey, darker, lavish rose that is not gourmand, which is hard to find, this is definitely a favorite. And without a doubt, the biggest Lemming and the most expensive Lemming in my wish list is Guidance. I think Guidance 46. I even bought it secondhand. It was a fake. It was very obviously a fake by the scent profile. And I realized that now the packaging is manufactured so close that without having the originals, you most likely won't be able to tell a difference. And Amouage Guidance 46 is getting up there in the number of counterfeit, it's not even counterfeit, it's like just fake perfume bottles that you can see on the internet, is probably next to Baccarat Rouge in terms of how likely you are to encounter fake, including some of the boutique Chanels. It is nearly impossible to find a original one outside of the official distribution channels. So that for now remains a Lemming. And I really didn't want to like it because Amouage Guidance, the flagman fragrance, was already made to be popular with the sugar babes and the clubbing crowd. And it's so not me. And it was too poppy to be elegant. It was too much in your face. Fake lips, fake lashes, fake everything. Instagram model type of a vibe that I didn't even go that way. Even though I do have a fairly sizable and precious collection of Amouage fragrances. But when I smelled Guidance 46, first of all, to me, it is a different level compared to the original Guidance. It's a masterpiece. It's definitely has its bid to become a masterpiece. It's the most delicious, lychee, berry, sweet, musky lusciousness. It's just so sexy. It's ingrained in my memory. It's the biggest Lemming of the year. The Cuddle Buddy, the fragrance that just created the most comfortable, cozy feeling, something that preferably emerged in the last year. This category was easy because I discovered Cozumel by Laboratorio Olfativo a while ago, but when I got the full-size bottle and started bathing in it, I made a whole video devoted to it. It was just it's a landslide. I still insist that this is what my skin smells like, wishfully. It is the most nuanced, quiet, whisper in your ear, like fluffy kisses, santal-ish, something. And I love that it's so nuanced that I can't either call it coconutty or vanilla or santal. It's just pure fluff and very soft, sensual, skin-like fluff. It's a cuddle buddy. It's the definition of a cuddle buddy. I've praised Tardis by Carner Barcelona for years, and nearly in every video when people ask me what is the most platonically complimentary fragrance to wear just to be liked by people, I usually send people to Tardis Carner Barcelona, but there is a new queen in town. There's a new kid. It's beautiful. It's subtle. It lasts a long enough time, and it just has this your skin but better mentality. Cozumel, Cuddle Buddy of 2025. A different facet of a similar category, what was the Workhorse? The fragrance that just I grabbed over and over and over, but there was more office appropriate or day wear appropriate fragrance that has more of a character, that still is comfortable enough, interesting enough, elegant enough, not too loud, right? Like a very well-rounded workhorse of a perfume. And look at this. That is Barenier Hermes. I think it still doesn't get enough hype as it should, because it's not a clubbing type of perfume. It doesn't scream in your face. It's a very niche profile of a fragrance that is marketed and bottled and launched and sold in nearly every department store, anywhere where you can find perfumery for sale. If they sell Hermes at all, you will find Barenier. So for this to be so, I don't want to say affordable, because affordability in the cosmetics world is becoming more and more of an issue, especially in the perfume world. The spices are losing touch with reality, even in designer fragrance categories, in my opinion. Nevertheless, by how accessible it is, how easy it is to find, and you can easily find it secondhand if somebody huffed a bottle like I have, and let's say had enough. You can get it for a very pretty price. It's not going to break the bank. It's a very niche, elegant profile. And the way that they market it is perfect. So the way that they describe it is exactly how it lands to my nose. It's a nude berry shipper. So it has this tamed, clouded, pillowy patchouli base with a very subtle, light, not screamish, not sour, not bitter, just like a light cloud of berry sour sweet note right at the beginning. And when it settles and settles and settles, it becomes somewhat of a just comfortable, somewhat of a patchouli-esque fragrance. It's simple, but it's elegant. It's one of the rare cases where I gotta say bravo. There are few designer scent releases that I can praise with such confidence as Barenier Hermes. Love it. We do know collectively that there is a Barenier Intense that has been released in 2025. I haven't quite gotten to it yet, but I think the wear speaks for itself. Disappointment of the year. I was patiently waiting for the apocalypse of the prices. It hasn't happened yet. It seems that the market is not saturated enough to crush. So we keep seeing a fairly disappointed, half-baked $300 plus releases from new and not so new niche perfume houses. A lot of secondary scent profiles, uninspiring and copycat, put it in ChatGPT and get your press release. Even that probably would be a little bit more original than what we've seen released to the market. I personally soft blacklisted the majority of new niche perfume houses or new perfume releases that if the price starts at $300. It is truly ridiculous. This is just ridiculous. I'm not interested. None of that juice. Everybody who even opened a single forum page on olfactory design, arts, and perfumery knows that the juice is never that expensive. There's not much that goes into the new molecule discovery these days either. Packaging, well, you can argue some packaging is better than others, but generally speaking, also not $300 per bottle worthy. it's the king is naked. It's a bubble. I was hoping it will finally burst and we will deflate and breathe out the cascade, the avalanche of uber expensive flashy releases that are shoved in our throats by more prominent influencers. But no, there is no stopping yet. We'll see. I don't know what it takes, but it's gonna crash eventually. And just like in many other cosmetics subfields, there's usually like a winter for that subfield when people just get tired and done and people quit perfumes, being perfume lovers, collectors, or reviewers cold turkey. I do hope that the industry crashes before the majority of people who became curious about perfumes bought 50, 100 bottles in 2 years and then said like, this is crazy. I can't keep up even with the new releases. I think last year I calculated that in order to cover all of the niche releases, if you're a perfume reviewer, if you want to share your love for perfumes online, you would have to cover about 60 to 70 perfumes a week. That's insane. This year there were more than that. So that was the biggest disappointment. I keep waiting for the crash to happen and it's not here yet. The Titanic hasn't hit that iceberg yet. Maybe next year, because I feel like we all need a breather. Am I alone in this? We need the market to slow down and stop producing trash. Please. Surprise. What I least expected. This was hard. There were many small surprises for me, but nothing that truly overtaken or completely changed the paradigm for me. At least nothing comes to mind. And if nothing comes to mind first thing, it's usually more of a collection of small surprises. And among those, I just want to, maybe it's a recency bias, but the three that come to mind first is that a coveted perfume bottle, Le Labo de Matcha 26, coveted by me for quite a few years. I finally got it secondhand. I remember that I was like, this is gonna be my soft gourmand, all right? You guys can have the strawberries, the lychees, the pistachios, the bananas. I'm gonna have the matcha lattes, and this soft, milky, with a twist latte fragrances. I got this something delight by Replica Exchange. A boring, uneventful quiet vanilla fragrance. I regifted it to a friend who loves it, by the way. Just for me, it had nothing special, but it's just like another quiet vanilla. And I thought, this is it. I remember the Matcha by Le Labo was so cool, so comfortable, semi-sweet, nuanced, soft, creamy, milky, la 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 la. I should have tried it again before I actually hunted down the bottle, because to my surprise, the Matcha 26 is much less of that milky semi-sweet fragrance with a twist and much more, this is just a fig fragrance. And I already have Diptyque Philosophus. I have a few others. To that end, one of the best figs, creamy, flirty figs in perfumery right now is Ex Nihilo Generations. I think that's the name of it. It's like a Gen Z marketed fragrance. It's a beautiful, flirty, creamy fig. And I think it's better than what I got. So matcha, as usual with Le Labo, what they call it, it's not what it smells like. So matcha doesn't smell like matcha. It's just a typical creamy fig. Nothing to write home about. I was surprised that I didn't remember. The glory that I remembered wasn't there at all. And you know, Le Labo fragrances, even secondhand, are not that cheap. But on the flip side, a rather surprising favorite, a perfume that I bought blindly, just as an add-on to something else, and love. It's sinful. It's so not sophisticated, but I love it. It's a musky strawberry ice cream by Michael Malal. This is, to my knowledge, some like influencer turned perfumer situation. I think the guy was, correct me if I'm wrong, I think he was famous for doing makeup, then he had some cosmetics line, and then he got into perfumery. I might be wrong. If I'm wrong, please correct me. So the name doesn't tell me much. It's not like one of those grand master perfumers who got enough investment funding to start their own line. So I was like, all right, it's going to be something very passing, you know, something you just spray in the bathroom or on your linens. But the combination of sour skin-like white musk with strawberry syrup and the sweetness that reminds me of whipped cream a little bit, everything together, it has longevity, it has projection, and a simplistic, strawberry syrup, come on, that's very juvenile. I love it. It's called Berry Plus Blanche. The Sephora is bursting with strawberry perfumes. Juliet has a gun. I think it's Miami Shake. It's strawberry milkshake, essentially. There was Nest had strawberry fragrance and a fragrance oil. Even Dolce & Gabbana released their new flanker of L'Impératrice, which was supposed to be kiwi, tropical fruits, sour sweet, this type of fruity situation. I think their flanker is also strawberry based, so strawberry is having a moment for sure. But this, I love this. I just love this. And it's so not serious. It's so obvious in what it is, and yet I wonder what makes it so wearable, because I'm not a big fan of synthetic syrups on my skin, but I think the way that they mixed sour sweet strawberry syrup note with silky sensual white musk, that's what elevates it above just like a flavoring. I love it. A surprise. Strawberry syrup, and yet I love it. Berry Plus Blanche, Michael Malal, surprise of the year. And the third one was a surprise because it's very hard for me to fall in love with a rose fragrance or a jasmine fragrance, just because it's such a well-walked road in perfumery that is like, how can you surprise me? How can it be any more different, or how can it hook you if there are tens of thousands of jasmine scents? And yet, after midnight, and I have a refill here by the different company, it's essentially a jasmine scent with a little bit of a sweetened, soft, maybe even like candle wax, amber, just lurking on the background. But somehow that juxtaposition of fairly light, recognizable jasmine scent with emerging, especially in the heat, emerging sweetness and softness of that, I don't want to say gourmand because that's an oversell. It's not really a sweet fragrance. Just a hint of a gourmand somewhere in the background. It truly is the essence of summer midnights. It's this breathing feeling of the night blooming jasmine. It's way more than the jasmine itself. There's this something special. There's bioluminescence in this fragrance that gives this enchanting feel when you wear it on hot skin or like in a more hot weather. The blotter, like if you put it on a piece of paper, it just doesn't blossom as much. It just smells like, yeah, it's another white floral with jasmine centric, so what? But on skin and the right climate and the right environment, it's just magic. It's the first time in a long time when a jasmine-centric scent became my favorite. It's almost unheard of. It's too much of a pop music type of a genre in perfumery to me to fall in love with the jasmine. And yet, after midnight, I think in the half a year that I had it, let's actually take a look. I think I've worn more than 20 mil. Well, definitely more than 15 milliliters worn off of After Midnight. That's the third surprise. Never have I ever expected to fall in love with yet another jasmine. And it's not even a new release. So the Different Company After Midnight is the third surprise of the year and has the most magical Shakespearean vibe. And now for the category that probably a lot of you were waiting for is the best gourmands of the year. Gourmands is a mega multi-year trend. It's pretty much the last 2 decades we were sipping in gourmands, which is quite typical of a lot of golden age eras that usually then result in the global restructuring of the world. And we start seeing the signs of kind of the story repeating itself now. So it's decadent, sweet, complex, sexy, soothing, all variations of something that gives you a sensation of joy, dessert, pretty much like anything that makes us feel indulgent, comforted, happy, joyous, almost lustful. And this year, I was very non-committal. I wore a lot of gourmands, way more than the years before. It's an increasing trend in my life as well. But I sampled. I feel I've sampled 100 of gourmands. Probably not less than that. So figuring out the top 3 in my full-size bottle collection was not easy. And yet there were a few standouts. Again, as a secondary trend to ginger, I really enjoyed blackcurrant gourmands. And the way that I achieved that, just so green and blackcurrant berry and sour sweet, but deeper, sweeter, more jammier, was to combine Giorgio Armani Intense, C Intense. It's a designer perfume. I actually haven't found a really good niche blackcurrant gourmand with some other blackcurrant centric scent to add facets and multiply that note. A really good combo is with Amethyst Lalique, and together, if you buy 2, you don't break a bank. Or deeper, more zesty, and a little bit more punchy combination is Musk Milano Russian Tea with Giorgio Armani C Intense. Delightful, incredibly satisfying blackcurrant gourmand theme that I managed to create throughout the year. My mouth is watering when I even think about wearing them again, to be honest. Also somewhat surprising, but a very delightful surprise, the Acro line that I reviewed by Olivier Cresp is their gourmands. I have Rise, I have Awake, which is here, and Bake. Bake is probably the most famous gourmand by them, are surprisingly wearable. Because my first impressions were like, yeah, like it is what it is. This Awake aims at creating a sweet lavender vanilla latte with a somewhat caramel latte type of a vibe with a lot of sweeteners. Bake smells like lemon cheesecake, but lemon curd. So yeah, delightful, easy, simple, unsophisticated. It's like, yeah, it's like flavoring for food. What's the big deal? They're actually way more wearable than I gave them credit initially, and I wore Bake a lot and really enjoyed it, and I loved Awake. And I don't like caramel-centric fragrances. Not my thing. It still doesn't smell like coffee to me, but it's a really great caramel latte type of a scent. Very wearable gourmands by Acro, worth trying for sure. They are friendly, simple, but they have enough. They have enough of an interest to be a personalized perfume to wear, not just a gimmick. The third one is, to me, like a cherishable rarity, like collectible item. My love for Quartier Latin by Memo crossed the boundary of discontinued favorite to my precious. My precious. Truly it is. Quartier Latin, to me, is very sweet, lavish, creamy santal plus suede. There's something powdery and suede about it. Even though for majority of people who review it online, it's like a beautiful, creamy, sweet santal. I disagree. I think Quartier Latin packs a punch. It's both powdery sweet, but it's not an edible gourmand. It's magic. I dare say, it's the best Memo fragrance out there if you can find it. It keeps appearing and disappearing, so I'm still not sure about the discontinued status of Quartier Latin, but I got it secondhand many years ago from somebody who clearly didn't appreciate the masterpiece that it is. But better for me, I got it for like $60. Can you believe it? The luck has it, it's mine. It's mine. And I don't even share it from my vault at Meliora Parfums. Should I? And a few community / like bigger theme vibes in the past year. First one, my first ever olfactory allergy. I have never ever, not once, had an allergy reaction from a perfume. And yet, there's a first for everything. And the Penhaligon's that I got, Peonive, which is rumored to be one of the best olfactory creations devoted to peony as a flower. I got it secondhand, and it was clear to me the moment I sprayed it that it was already beaten. By that I mean beaten when the fragrance starts spoiling. Usually the first notes to go are the top notes, so that you will notice either oily or bitter or like odd smell right at the beginning. And sometimes when people love fragrances too much, or like me, really wanted to get a true peony masterpiece in my nose, I kept spraying it despite the fact it was clear to me that the top notes were beaten, they were gone. And then I got a rash all over my hand, exactly in the places where I sprayed it. Lo and behold, it's not the only Penhaligon's that got me that reaction. Earlier, I got secondhand a bottle of Elizabethan Rose, which also had top notes spoiled. It seems like Penhaligon's don't have a long shelf life. This is the only brand where it keeps happening if you get it secondhand or, not freshly produced bottle. They don't have much of a longevity to their formulas, and both gave me a skin rash. Luckily, it was not long-lived, just probably 24 hours, and I pretty much had to discard both bottles, like they're not usable as a personal perfume. Not for their scent profile, neither nor for how they react with your body. That was a first. I hope that doesn't happen again, but not so good. And this gives me a pause when it comes to Penhaligon's, not gonna lie. Like, it never happened again like this, and not consecutively with 2 perfumes at once. And I bought so many perfumes secondhand. I even bought vintages, like never ever. This is the first time. And both times with the same brand. Coincidence? I don't know. The knowledge gold, like a discovery, something I learned or heard that was truly impactful. I think these little facts, two little facts. First, that we have olfactory receptors not only in our nose and our throat, that we know, right? That, most of the food tasting is the flavor. It's in your olfactory receptors. Get that? It's in your nose and in your throat, but that we have olfactory receptors all throughout in many other organs. I don't say all throughout the body, but in many other places in our body, including in many organs involved in digestive tract, which made perfect sense. There is this grandma wisdom that I grew up with, that if you have food poisoning, if you feel nauseous or really not good after eating something, and you can't quite know for sure what that was, my grandma used to say, think of all of the foods one by one that you ate and what gives you this ick feeling. And it's usually it. That was the product, or something you drank or something you ate. That's what poisoned you. And it seemed very woo-woo, right? It seems like, how is my psychology and my feelings and my preferences in food can tell me what particular type of food poisoned me? Here is a plausible mechanism for you. Apparently, we do have olfactory receptors in our stomach and all across our digestive tract. So our body is smelling itself and everything you ate all the way through to the very end of the digestive cycle. So it is entirely plausible for us to have this inner, full body lived intelligence about a lot of properties of what's good for us and what's bad for us, that is also related to our ability to smell things, not just with our nose, but with our whole body. That blew my mind, because it connected this idiosyncratic, passing through generations. Is it a fact? Is it just a superstition? You don't know. But there is now it makes a lot of sense. And the second fact is that olfaction takes the most real estate. It's the largest genetic real estate for receptor coding in human genome. The olfaction as a sense, among all of the senses that we have, takes the most genes. It's, I think, I'm trying to remember, up to 3% of genome is encoding its functional and pseudogenes that are related to encoding molecules, receptors, and all kinds of large molecules that are related to olfactory function, to olfactory sensing. So that ain't a rudimentary and forgotten scent as often it is being represented. Yes, most of the attention is given to vision, and then, there's a hierarchical cascade of senses. But most of the place in our genome is dedicated to olfaction. And that ain't a coincidence. There's way more there that I feel scientific and medical community understands at this point. And that's a very fascinating, hidden in plain sight discovery that I made this year. And the most melancholic thought in the year 2025, in the life of the Perfume Nation, is that I feel the fragrance community is fracturing. I can, so to speak, I can smell it. I don't know if you've noticed or not. I feel maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm one of those isolated, unpopular, asocial, fragrant incels. But I've seen less and less collaborations, less and less cross-channel, cross-perfume reviewer curiosity, or maybe I just started noticing certain cattiness and some weird clickiness. It's either emerging or I'm becoming a little bit more becoming more visible to me. I wonder if it's just a natural evolution of any field, because perfumes were olfactory design, olfactory science and arts, and perfumes is just a small part of it, really. It was a dormant field in social media for a long time. There were always perfume critics, reviewers, aficionados. As a community, it always existed, but it never blew up as much or as fast as makeup community, nail community, and all other like niche communities that exist, cooking community, and you name it. Sewing community, many others. I feel like a lot of niche communities blossomed on YouTube and on social media somewhat in like appropriate timing, 2010s, 2015s, and of that nature. I feel the perfume and olfaction community started really taking picked up its pace in late 2010s, and probably truly blossomed around 2018, 19, 20, and post-COVID 2021. Maybe it's only natural that now I feel there's a lot of fragmenting. There are a lot of perfume reviewers who are catering, at least that's my perception, to very specific audience. There are perfume channels that are almost exclusively dedicated to yummy designer releases. It's pretty much only things Sephora sells, or only things natural perfume oils, which nonsense, but you understand the sentiment. People who hope to find chemical free, nobody knows what that means because everything is a chemical, but naturally derived scented creations, formulations that are good for you. Again, even the most natural essential oils, some of the most allergenic perfume ingredients come from nature. Again, I don't know why I'm getting drugged into that in that particular controversy, but you know what I mean. Like people who primarily talk about clones, people who primarily talk about yummy gourmands you can buy in Sephora, people who primarily talk about Arabic cheapies, but like segues to clones, people who only talk about whatever that is, natural perfumes. And there are still the OG perfume reviewers who will talk about anything, but there's still a bit of this like breaking of the stream. People who specialize in new releases and people who specialize in whatever they find meaningful or cool for themselves. They're also, I feel, branching into some highbrow vintage / niche society. You know, when things like that are just, it's mauvais ton to talk about things like that. Like even Le Labo it's not a true niche, all right? We're not gonna even, it's beneath us to discuss things like that. So there are those niches that are all emerging. That's all great. What puzzles me, like, why don't they overlap? Like, it's truly bewildering to me. How can you explore the sense of smell and only limit yourself to a very artificially constructed, economically driven market? Like if you enjoy sense of smell, you enjoy smelling real mushrooms, you enjoy smelling flowers after the rain, you enjoy smelling food, you enjoy tasting wine, you enjoy, perfumes, let's take it as its own sub-niche. To keep cutting pieces of this huge, immense pie and keep narrowing yourself down a rabbit hole, I'm not sure that's specialization, that level of expertise, even though it's usually prescribed by the business coaches for content creators and marketing agencies for brand creators. I'm not sure it actually has that return of investment that everybody assumes it has. Am I wrong? Am I just being a shallow generalist here. It's strange. It's probably logical for a more maturing community, but it's just strange when I come across a channel or an account of a perfume reviewer who only reviews Lush or only reviews body sprays from Victoria's Secret. It's just odd. How can you really tell if a new release by in a Sephora is special if you're comparing it in such artificially constrained set? I don't know, how does not natural curiosity take over? It's a puzzle. It's a puzzle, but that's the vibe that I'm getting from our community these days. It's becoming fractured. Maybe it is for the better. It's easier for people who are looking for, a beast mode, yummy, lychee, sugary scent that you can smell after 5 martinis in a nightclub. It's becoming easier for people to find creators and niche content like this. But then it makes me feel sad. Because I do have a few very sexy, very long-lasting beast mode gourmands. I do, and I enjoy wearing them. But it's not the only thing I want to smell. I wonder what you think about it. Have you noticed it? Have you noticed the fracturization of our community? If so, which niches do you belong to? Are you one of the Sephora experts? Are you a vintage snob? There's no shame. It's perfectly fine to have preferences. I'm just curious what vibe check do you guys feel when you think about 2025? What was it? As for the next year, this might warrant a separate video for the trends in 2026, but just going by vibes, I think we're still not done. I don't feel that the anxiety and cruelty and austerity and uncertainty that we all are experiencing across the world is easing anytime soon. If anything, global analysts predict at least 2 decades of global turmoil with various crises here and there, which pretty much guarantees that the gourmands are here to stay. We are to embark on more and more twists on gourmands. I think soft gourmands is key in the next year. I think it potentially will reach its culmination. We've got a lot of really good, interesting, but user-friendly twists already, but I don't think they've all reached the intended audiences yet. We haven't had enough strawberries, pistachios, bananas, and I wonder what's next. You name it. There are a lot of fluffy, milky fragrances, not condensed milk anymore, milky. So tiramisu, Madeleine cookies, all kinds of variations of soft, nuanced, delicate, whispering gourmands. I think this is gonna continue, and I'm open to be surprised. I'm in for it. This is the first time that I'm gonna just stop resisting the obvious. I'm in for the soft, delicate, unusual gourmands. Bring it in. You want milky teas, you want ginger cookies, you want strawberry milkshakes, you want banana smoothies. I'm all in on soft gourmands. Let's indulge. We deserve it. While we're still alive, life is too short, and these days there's so much turmoil, there's so much anxiety, there's so much sadness and loneliness that bring more gourmands. Bring them in. If the market is to continue to exploit our wallets and pretty much explode in size, let it be soft, unusual, delicate, sophisticated gourmands. I'm all in. I think another mega trend that I keep seeing is a continuous evolution of mineral, oceanic, and pine herbaceous accord. As more and more I see these combinations of salty, somewhat mineral-esque accords with a pine, a vetiver, some form of a marijuana / patchouli, these type of concoctions, like fizzy, refreshing, and yet soothing Christmas tree, piney type of scents. So many releases like that, old and new. They're not as noticeable because it's not a Sephora trend. It's not, like an Instagram model is not so likely to recommend that. But I see it as a quiet undercurrent for those people who are not going straight for, blackcurrant gourmands or strawberry milkshakes. So the continued evolution of what we define as fresh or aromatic, it's a very old word. If you want to learn more about the terminology and classification of fragrances, I have a whole chapter on that on Perfume Nation episode list. So the continued evolution of what we call fresh and aromatic is very intriguing to me. It's definitely happening, and I've sampled a few dozen of candidates that were truly very interesting. Even to name a few, Wild by Floris, a British style of blending, which is very Puritan. Think Jo Malone, right? Like 1, 2, 3 notes, but those notes have to be combined with pristine clarity, precision, and bright sunlightness in how, like, that's what the British school of blending represents. They also have adaptation of Eastern spices to the Western world, but it's its own genre. So British olfactory blending, Floris is one of the fine examples. So they released Wild, a perfume that's devoted to Oscar Wilde, and it's this gender bending green aromatic carnation floral. Go figure. I got myself a travel, love it. Again, what should I call it? Aromatic? Herbaceous? Floral? It's neither. It's refreshing, but it's not a cologne. It's floral, but it's not a floral as we know them. So I think there are going to be a lot of aromatique explorations for those of you who are niche lovers and like things to be a little bit away from the mainstream gourmand mega trend. And I am hopeful, this is my secret wish to Santa, that the technogenic trend of Ganymede, Baccarat Rouge, not actually the Baccarat Rouge itself, but its clones, the Fantomas, those, first you go to a trauma department in a hospital and they put iodine on your wounds, then you go to a dentist and they drill a hole. It's all these smells of what you smell in a hospital or a factory. Maybe we should stop gassing on all this Ambracenide, Ambrox, Ambromax, Amberwood type of technogenic, screechy, screaming, like drilling holes in your, not even in your nose, in your brain. When I smell things like that, it's just like, I think I'm getting permanent brain damage right now. I think like Alzheimer's is coming just because I smelled it 3 times. I hope people will start getting softer. Like the technogenic trend, I hope will start loosening a bit. Partially because the soft, unusual gourmands took off like hotcakes. And the second trend that I notice, this evolution of fresh aromatics is continuing. And I think newer generation of fragrance lovers is taking on to both fairly well. I do pray to the Lord and wish to the Santa, like, I don't know, like, which God to pray to, that we will finally get some fresh air. We'll get some breathing space to step away from the Ambercinide, Ambramax, Amberwood centric, technogenic, hazard disposal liquids. Will my wish get granted? Nobody knows, but I will make another one. The same one that I made last year. I really want this Titanic to freaking find its iceberg in terms of pricing. I am wishing to the fragrance industry to finally crash, because the escalation of prices and the hypocrisy of the same brand selling something for $300, $400, $500, $600, you name it, for that many hundreds of dollars for a non-essential luxury item that costs at most $20 to produce. At the same time, they're selling their stock to the gray markets for 1/5 of a price. This is stop, guys. It's just the king is naked, because it puts everyone in a really awkward position, because nobody believes its prices, rather than a very new noobs to perfume community, people who just don't know any better and legit buy Baccarat Rouge for $600 or whatever is the new price for, for the bucket that it sells at. There are no golden precious ingredients in that fragrance. I'll give it, it's definite, it's not just a perfume, it's a genre in perfumery. It has historical significance, and some might argue it's a masterpiece because of that. I'm not aware. I'm not a big fan of the profile. Surprising how popular it is, but it's not that beautiful. It's not to me. And it's not that sophisticated. So only the new, I just feel bad for the people who get seduced by yet another Sephora Squad influencer, and they go and they actually pay $150 or $100 for like an Ariana Grande celebrity perfume, which price is $10 max. And that's with profit to the brand. Like, it's insane. It's insane. Like, I haven't been to Sephora or Ulta to buy perfumes in years. So we're all caught in this delightful, playful, theatrical hypocrisy. When I show you a Florico or like Amouage Legacy, it's like, yeah, that's ridiculously expensive. But I got it on the gray market. And even that was like half price, and that was still ridiculously expensive in my view. All right, I have that money I can spend, and maybe we'll see if I cash out for Guidance 46, because that I feel like has to be bought from the original source. Too many fakes for Guidance 46. But anyway, I may or may not, but people who buy designer perfumes and pay over $100 for this piss in a glass bottle, like, it's just it breaks my heart. And we all pretend like we paid full price for this or that. We didn't. We all know where to buy them. We know the brands sell them to these wholesalers and the gray markets. So why are we all pretending that the prices are real and that they make sense? And it's so awkward. It's so awkward to the top influencers who get that PR and get those contracts, and they have to like send everyone to the official website, even though we all know it's not where you buy them. We all know it. I know, you know, I know that you know that I know that you know. It's a common knowledge. So I'm making another wish to Santa. Let this hypocrisy end. Can we please? Pretty please? Pretty please? Can we? And with that, Merry Christmas. I congratulate you with all the winter holidays that you choose to celebrate. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Maybe it brought a smile on your face. I don't know, maybe it brought some other emotion. I'm not going to be picky here. It's up to you. If it did, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, to many more episodes of Perfume Nation podcast and Marie Meliora channel here on YouTube, and more decants, rarities, discontinued collectible gems at melioraparfums.com. If you want to sponsor the more content and potentially sponsor a production of rich, nourishing, information-dense interviews and deep dives for Perfume Nation, I leave a link below. You can become a Perfume Nation guardian. There are many options for every wallet and every level of mutual love that we have here in our community. Thank you so much again for your time, for your comments. I learn a lot from you. I hope to learn more. I hope we get to enjoy exploring perfumes together and find that delicate, subtle balance between the decadent exploration that comes a bit of with the consumerism culture, not gonna lie, pure joy of learning, more of philosophical angles. I'm very interested, if you're interested, to if I can make more content like that, and what angles would you like us to cover in our discussions and debates, maybe even live stream. So anyone who wants to support the channel, become a Perfume Nation guardian, follow the link below, leave your comments, leave your requests and thoughts. You can also write me an email if you prefer private and long form. I leave all the information down below in the description. I'll be not so patiently waiting for your feedback and your comments. And I guess I'll see you soon, and maybe in the new year.